great afternoon. Happy and blessed Wednesday. I hope you all are doing well, and I'm just grateful to be here another week. For anyone that's new to this podcast, welcome. I'm glad you're here. My name is Catherine Barnett, but I go by Cat Barnett, and this is the Cat Barnett podcast. We are on episode 44, and that's crazy to just think about. And we're just rolling and just going into it, and it's just been amazing, and I'm just grateful. This keeps growing and just spreading value with you all. And I also help women who struggle with confidence in their faith and fitness develop strategies and systems that lead them to gain clarity, direction, and purpose so that they can be fulfilled as they walk in their calling faithfully. And just a couple things before I get into this episode is I do have a free mastermind class that I'll drop the date on that shortly, either this week or next week, but it will be going on in June, where I teach you guys the strategies and systems of the C4 method, how to turn your personal pain into profit. And I'm just so excited. I can't wait for that to happen. But today is not about me. Today is gonna be about over the last topics I've been talking about strength, and how strength training and resistance training is super important, especially as we get older. And then a couple weeks ago, before that, I had my very own nutritionist come on and spread value and knowledge with you guys. And so now today I'm super excited because I have another guest that, you know, health and wellness is so big to me in the faith and fitness. And I now want you guys to hear about fitness and nutrition, but from a male's perspective. And there's no better person than to be doing this than this guy that I'm bringing on today. And I've known this guy for quite a while actually, and I'm just super grateful that he can make time out of his busy schedule to come on today. And he is a man that wears many hats. He is a family man, a businessman, a personal and online coach in fitness and nutrition. So I consider him to be a fitness junkie and a guru and just an all around great guy. And, don't get it twisted. Even though this is going to be from a male's perspective, he works with all different type of people, women and men, because I don't want to speak too much for him, but I know that, one of his missions in life is, helping busy parents shred fat and tighten up without crazy diets. So I'm excited for him to spread value and his knowledge today around and in the fitness world. So if y'all can please, give a warm welcome, and help me introduce Nick Nix.
Let's go. Hey, I like that. That was beautiful. I want to hear that again. Like, can we hear that one more time? No.
No, and it's just all true, and it's stuff that like I said, we've known each other for years now, and just watching you continue to elevate has been inspiring, and it's just you got my respect, brother. So appreciate you for, like I said, making this podcast today, and we just gonna have a fun, fruitful conversation.
There we go. There we go. Yeah. First of all, I appreciate you having me on. What is this? You said episode 44?
Yes, sir.
Hey, that's a beautiful thing. Consistency is key. We gotta keep this going right here.
Facts.
Bigger and better. It's only gonna get bigger and better. But yeah, I appreciate you having me on.
No doubt, no doubt. And I like to tell people too, before we get too far into the episode, I always like when people can, tell our audience a little bit more about themselves. So, if you don't mind, telling us, who is Nick Nix and a little bit more about yourself.
Man, I don't know where to start. Just like you said, I wear a lot of hats, So, I mean, my journey started. I mean, I was born in Riverside, California, originally. Then I moved to Fort Wayne. That's when I, developed a lot of friendships and stuff. I met you, Kat, during that. Your
Yeah.
brother. I'm cool with your brother and everything like that. So, I know your peoples, your dad. He was my sub before. Dad, your pops was my sub. So yeah, my journey started in California when I was born. I moved to Fort Wayne around, I say about like 12. Yeah, 11, 12. Yeah, and I, grew up with my four brothers and my mom. And yeah, that's kind of where the journey started. And yeah, just going through life. I mean, when it comes to fitness, health and fitness, I play my sports. I really ain't get into it like I wanted to. I was good while I was doing it, but other things came up to where I just kind of started focus on school more. So that's when I started, really just get into my studies, and I was an honor roll student all through school. I actually got a academic scholarship to go to Ball State, and it was some other colleges too. Yep, it was other colleges too that I got accepted to. But us as young kids, we like, oh yeah, if you know somebody going to a school, you like, oh yeah, hey, my boy, you go there. All right, I'm gonna just go there. So I ended up at Ball State, and that's where I started at accounting at first, and then I kind of I, I ain't gonna lie, I'm gonna get real with y'all. So I went there, and
Please do.
as a young black male, we kind of get a little wild. So I got a little wild in school, and I kind of I flunked out. I'm gonna be honest, I flunked out. So that where you go after that, you try to get back in school. Everybody go to Ivy Tech. So
Yeah.
went back to Fort Wayne. Went to Ivy Tech for a little bit. Um, Started just dibbling, dabbling, and other stuff that really didn't serve me well. And then uh, I ended up having my son. That's when I met somebody and I ended up having my son. And that's kind of like changed my mindset a little bit. So I knew from then, like, it's time to get serious. It's time to get serious. I was only 22 at the time.
Mm.
So it was a series. It was like a mindset shift to where it was like, all right, I was going in and out of Ivy Tech. So now, my son, he's about to be on his way. Now it's time to get real. And his mom at the time, she was living in Indianapolis, and that's when I was like, all right, it's time to get back in school. So during that time, I was like, all right, I'm gonna be a physical therapist. That's was my thought. So I came back to Indy, and that's when I started going to school to become a PT, and that's when we get off to where I am now. But it get deeper than that. It's a lot of things to unravel here, but I'm gonna let you lead the way, Kat. Yeah, like kind of from there, that's kind of how I got into doing what I do now.
Okay, yes. And for one, I want to say thank you for your vulnerability, cuz this is a safe space. So I'm always telling people, definitely, don't be afraid to be that authentic person, cuz
Yeah.
what it's all about. And so thank you for that. And yeah, I mean, I don't have my kids, any personal kids yet, but just hearing from people that do, um, I think it takes a lot of, you know, responsibility and maturity to, when you have a kid, to be like, okay, that mind shift, it's time to start getting serious with my life. Because you still didn't have to. You still could have been still
Exactly.
out here just doing your thing, but
Well, I
you
wasn't perfect now. I wasn't perfect. Yeah, I wasn't perfect, but it was just a mindset shift, to like, I gotta try to better myself in a way. So yeah.
Right. So no. Hey, more power to you. More power to you. So yeah, you were going a little bit into that, so we can pick up right where you left off, because I know that you have been in the fitness world and the nutrition base for quite some time now. I believe even over a decade, right?
Close. It's close. It's getting there. It's getting.
Wow. Okay, so yeah, almost about a decade. So yeah, can you tell us, what inspired your fitness journey and what's, the story behind you getting into the fitness space?
Mhm. Okay, so yeah, as we go back to like when I moved to Indy, my son, he's about to come. So I'm getting serious. I go back to college, everything like that. It got real. I mean, I was working, I was going to school, and I still had these old habits that I was hanging on to, and they wasn't good. It was like, I wasn't an alcoholic or nothing, but I was drinking. I was drinking and stuff like that. I used to, dabble into, marijuana and all, and that stuff was kind of holding me back, but I really didn't know it at the moment until it got serious in 2016. That's when it started. I started coming on to like this medical issue that just came off in a weird way. It started with me. I couldn't burp, so I felt real congested all the time, and it was just like something ain't right. So I would like eat food, and it would kind of get stuck in my throat. I'm telling you, like it'd be like chicken or it'll be noodles. It could be any type of food. It will get stuck, and I'm telling you, I will regurgitate the food like 3 days later, and I'll be like, hold on, this stuff didn't even digest. It didn't even hit my stomach yet. So I was going through this. Yeah, this happened. This was like the beginning of January 2016, and it was kind of weird. You know what I'm saying? And then it started with water too. So I would try to wash it down with water. Then I realized water would get stuck. So it was just like I would have to regurgitate like constantly throughout the day. Some would flush down, some wouldn't. So it was just times like I was going 2 to 3 days without eating. So my weight was dropping over months, dropping to where it got to the point to where my mom looked at me and she said, "Boy, what's going on now? Something ain't right." And I was like, "Mom, I don't know. This thing, I can't burp, I can't, my food not going down." She thinking I got cancer. She thinking all this stuff. I ain't know. I was thinking I had it too. Then I was just like, as a male, we wait to the last minute. You know what I'm saying? When it comes to the doctors, we feel like we could fix everything. So we just I'm still head up, like, no, I'm good, you know what I'm saying? But in the back of my mind, I'm kind of like, dang, this ain't right. Something ain't right. So I ended up getting on like medical leave with my job. Still was going to college at the time, so I had to go to administration, let them know what I was going through, and then I'm going to all these doctors. So during this time, I went to like I say like 8 different doctors, and they did not know what was going on with me. So that just think about that mindset going through that, like you don't know what's going on. My weight at the time, 2016, I say I was about like 175. I'm going through all these doctors. My weight dropped to like 128. So I'm walking around sticks and bones, and it's crazy. As a man,
Yeah.
looking at yourself in the mirror, it's never been a time I didn't want to look at myself in the mirror. But during this time, insecurities coming out. So I had relationship problems during the time because my energy was down. I was depressed. I was depressed trying to, but it was like a situational depression. But I didn't channel it at the time because I still had that little bit of hope in me, that things was going to get right. And that just goes down to like, my faith. It all comes down to it comes down to my faith in God. And that was a time where I got the closest ever to God. And we all know what happened when Moses, 40 days, 40 nights, when they all went out in the desert. They like, what's going on? And they was fasting 40 days. And I feel like I was like forced into fasting because I was going like, what, 3-4 days without eating. But that was the time where I really dipped into the Bible and I really got on my faith. And it got scary too. And and I adopted that to what we could talk about, as we go on. But I adopted the fasting into my life, because it was a time where I was forced to fast. It was times where I don't know where it came from. It was probably a God trying to talk to me in some type of way, like you need to let go of those old habits. You going too hard. Slow down a little bit. So I'm thinking it was like a blessing in disguise, So so yeah, it was a scary moment for me, and I ended up, I say after like 8 months going through all these doctors, I found this one doctor, and he said, "Man, you got alkalasia," and he said it's a rare disorder. Probably like he said, like 1% of the world get it, and it was just like my throat muscles, they didn't contract.
Okay.
So that's when I really wasn't, during the time I used to play basketball at the gym, but I wasn't really serious about my fitness. You know what I'm saying? I was like, I go to the gym here and there, but nutrition, I didn't care about that, And this was a point where my mind started to shift again. My faith got stronger because I ended up having surgery and I got through it, because I didn't know what it was at first. And during all this time, I'm praying my way through, just like praying, like what's going on? I need to figure out. And the answers didn't come right away. They came when God needed me to know them, because it was I'm gonna say this. The doctor told me, he said, we can't even do your surgery because your body's so weak. That broke me down. I'm like, what? This stuff, I'm not eating. I haven't eaten 3-4. He was like, we can't, your body, we don't know if we put you under anesthesia if your body can really take it. You know what I mean? So it was like, that was a moment. He said, you need to get your body stronger so you could take the anesthesia. So we're going to get to the story of really how I got deep into fitness, but it was a lot of ups and downs. So this what happened. I was okay. That was January 2016. So about 8-9 months later, it's around, I say, this is like October-ish. So I'm like, dang, I got to do something. Let me go really start with this working out stuff, get my body strong, like you said. So I went to Planet Fitness. I go in there, I'm insecure. I'm looking around. I'm thinking everybody, when I walk in the gym, everybody looking at me. You know what I mean? I'm looking like, but ain't nobody worrying about me. You know what I'm saying? When you at the gym, it's just you and the equipment, you versus yourself. So I go in there. I see a skinny girl on a machine doing a chest press. So I'm like, I'm about to go do that. I really ain't know about, how to structure a workout, nothing like that. I was going to school to be a PT, but I really wasn't deep into my fitness yet. You know what I mean? I was out of it, trying to figure myself out. Went in there. I looked, I'm like, I could lift what she got on here. Look at her. You know what I'm saying? I promise you. I went to that weight. I couldn't even move it. I'm like, that's when I kind of was like, I was insecure. I walked out the gym. Went in the car. I promise you, cried like a baby, praying to God, like, God, like, why this gotta happen to me? Like, what? Couldn't even lift the weight. And I promise you, I cried. I was like, man, I was talking to myself, I ain't going back. Skip this. Like, I was about to accept it. But going back to my faith, you know what I'm saying? You get this calling in your head, you know what I'm saying? When you dip into like the word of the Bible and stuff like that. And it's kind of like, don't lean on your own understanding. You know what I'm saying? You want to trust in God. So, and if God was just telling
3-5-6.
See, you got it. You got it. I need to work on my numbers a little bit, like you, Cat. Don't do it. No, but I was leaning on that, and I was like, I gotta get right. So I didn't go back to Planet Fitness. You know what I do? I started running. I found out that doing cardio was the best thing for me during that time because I didn't have no food in my body. So lifting weights, I couldn't really do it because when you lifting weights, you got to feed your muscles. I couldn't feed my muscles, so the best thing for me was to get the most important muscle in your body is the heart. So I had to use my heart muscles, So I had to start running. So here in Indy downtown, that's where I started. First week, I was like, let me just do a mile. I'm talking about I wasn't working, I was on medical leave. I was like, let me do a mile. Did a mile. I was good. Went there the whole week. I did a mile. Second week, let me do two. I did simple steps, did two. To where I was on my my 6th week, about a month and a half. I was doing 6 miles every day, busting it out. Went back to the doctor, like they hooked me up. They got to test your heart, test your. They said, "Wow, what you been doing, Nick? Like you ready? Like you healthy?" And I was like, I just started, just running. They said, "Boom, hey, we ready?" They set me up for that appointment to get my surgery. All they had to do was slit these muscles, and then they did so. I don't even know what they did. I gotta look at the papers.
Come on, Nick. You saying all they had to do? Come on, that's
I know. See, you gotta. I don't lay my head. I don't like laying my head on it, but yeah, they had to slit some muscles in my throat so it can contract. I don't know. It was like a lot of pressure, so they had to release something in there, and they said the thing. It was an easy surgery, so they said you could start eating in the next 2 days. It was like you could eat in the next 2 days. So they said eat soft for 2 days. Like I was eating oatmeal was my thing. So I fell in love with oatmeal during that time. My mom would whip it up for me. She'd make it real sugary though.
ain't nothing wrong. Hey, hey, I love me some oatmeal.
Yeah, the way my mom made it.
In there, hey.
Oh yeah. But I'm telling you, the way we grew up, like the way my mom was making it, I needed it at the time because I needed sugar, whatever, because I didn't have nothing in me. So I was just, Mama, could you make that oatmeal? And my mama put brown sugar, syrup. She just drenching it with sugar.
All
that. She put cinnamon, everything sweet you could think of was in there. But it was a time where I needed it because I just needed some type of calories to get me going. So that's what I was eating while I was on them runs. But yeah, I got that surgery, and that's when my whole life changed. I said I would never in my life feel like this again. Never. So yep, that's how I got in. That's how I really, got into it. Yep.
Wow. I mean, what a beautiful testimony though. Like a lot that you said in there. I know it's already got me like, wow, God is amazing. Like, I always tell people too, here is a safe place. Like I'll never push my faith on anybody.
Yeah.
But unapologetically, I'm always gonna talk about him because what he's brought people from, like that's a beautiful testimony right there, where he sometimes put us in situations to rely on him and him alone, nobody else.
Yep.
And the fact that you're here to even talk about that, because I knew the bits and pieces of your story, but when you dived into that, even like, wow, God, great. Like, so thank you so much for sharing that. And even, people tuning in, they're just saying, like when we quoted Proverbs 3:5-6, like leaning on his own understanding and just God is the answer when problems come. Like it's just crazy. And I'm glad you went into that. And that even tied into, like, you already answered my next question, because the next thing I was going to talk about, because we always on this podcast talk about adversities, because adversities is something that I think people tend to be afraid of or shy from, but it's actually like a gift, because when you go through certain adversities, it shapes your character. It helps you grow into the person that you're supposed to grow into.
Oh yeah.
I can think about so many adversities I've went through. But one that always stands out to me, Nick, is in 2018.
Uh-huh.
Um, me too. I went through that journey of like, not necessarily being out in the streets, but acting like
Yeah.
a savage. Like I
Yeah.
had a
Yeah.
cat really with 9 lives. So
Yeah.
really, my biggest diversity or adversity was when 2018 I got my first and only, God willing, OWI,
Oh yeah.
and that
Yeah.
changed the trajectory of my life. Like
Yeah.
I was like, this is the worst time of my life. And
Yeah.
coming from, my dad and the African family,
Yeah.
that's like shame and disgrace. So it was like, man, it just brought so much hard times in my life, So,
Because you feel like you above that a little bit, you know.
but yeah,
But then again,
I don't even
that's
drink
what you
like
need to humble yourself.
right.
Things like that. Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah. So it's like, but looking back on it, I'm like, I thank God something. I probably wouldn't necessarily said that to happen, but thank
Yeah.
God he had something shake me where I was like, okay, I need to be more humble. I need to rely on you, Lord, and get my life really on track and get focused.
Right.
And now it just helped me shape into the woman I am today. So
That's
I
good.
mean, there's always things that happen, hardships, challenges in the certain time that is happening. We don't necessarily understand why it's happening,
Right.
but when you have our faith intact, he will later or eventually
Yep.
he'll show why that had to happen. So
Thanks.
yeah, that was just a beautiful testimony. And I wanted you to talk about an adversity that you went through
Yeah.
leading into your fitness and nutrition, and that was it. So that was beautiful. I mean,
Yeah.
that was your
I got it. I got many more stories. It's a lot in this bank here. I got a lot to tell to just to uplift other people. You know what I'm saying? That's
right. And I mean, if you don't mind sharing another one, you can. But I know that one was very big in your life because that helped shape you into getting more into your fitness and your fitness journey. So
yeah.
I'm just glad that you decided to touch base on that.
Yeah, and I mean, I could go into a little bit more details because so that happened in 2016, right? And then I'm trying to get right. I'm trying to get healthy and everything like that. And we'll say I say about a year from me just like starting like the running and then getting my surgery in October 2016. Come through 2017, my dad passed away in September. So my dad is living in Riverside, California at the time where I grew up. And I'm working a job during the time. Working a job and I'm on the job and I get a call from my auntie saying they found my dad on the side of his bed, unresponsive. And that was another time where I got shooken up and like my whole world stopped during that time. Like I go over the summer. I always talk to my dad, even though he wasn't, here in Indiana, my dad was there. My dad was solid, So that that was like another like disaster kind of like during the time because it was like boom, I get that call. You need to come here, Nick. I'm his only child,
Mm.
like some of my brothers, we got, different dads. I'm my dad's only child. So I was his only focus and everything like that. So when it comes to, somebody going through that situation, I needed to be there for the family to, to handle all of my dad's business, So I'm trying to handle all of his business. I'm trying to grieve at the same time. And then, that's when they got even more serious with like the nutrition basis of everything. That's when I really got serious about like nutrition because I know a lot of things that my dad, he had high blood pressure during that time. He had diabetes
Mm.
during that time. And I know he was, his eating wasn't right during that time. and and I just he had sleep apnea, which something I suffer with it now. I ain't gonna say suffer, but I have sleep apnea, and I got to get under control with that. I got to get serious about that because, and yeah, my dad. It come to find out, my dad had a stroke, and it was his second one too, and the second one took his life, and I had to rush to Riverside, and I was by my dad's side for like I say like 7 days straight. He was kind of unresponsive a little bit, but as I was with him every day in the hospital bed, talking to him, everything. Then he started to get a little responsive. I'd be like, Dad, yeah, say what up. He'll squeeze my hand and move his fingers, but he just couldn't talk at the time. And I felt in my mind, like, I'm praying the whole time, like, oh, my dad about to bounce back. Like, I ain't never seen my dad in no vulnerable situation like this. Like, you know what I'm saying? I just know my dad always being strong and playing sports and stuff throughout my life. So just me seeing him like that, just kind of like, that was a blow to my heart. So, and then I'm with him for them 7 days, and they said, they told me he was getting better. I was telling them like he getting better. My dad about to start talking, you know what I'm saying? Like he about to be good. So I had to come back to Indy to, handle a few things. And then the day I came back, my dad passed away, and it was like that was another blow. So I had to come back, handle my dad, funeral arrangements, everything. I'm trying to grieve, and I'm dealing with all this. So that was another time where it kind of hit me like, and I had a son too, at the time. So I was just like, man, I gotta get right, like, health and fitness is like that's everything. And that comes with like mental, fitness. We just say mental fitness, physical fitness. It's all fitness. It's all we have to work towards it, But just like you said, that resistance, the hard times, the adversities, that's what builds your character. That's what builds you, And I never let it like shake me up. I only used it to better myself and to feed it into what I'm doing now, into my clients, understanding them more on a deep level basis. Because through my years of doing this, I say, 8 years, I didn't have clients pass away. You know what I mean? So I've been through it. So I know what to tell them. I know like I could feel them during that process. So I could feed into them, you know what I'm saying? And it's more than just fitness with me, it's mental too as well. So it gets deep. So that's another thing that I had to get over, in 2017 when my dad passing away. That was deep. That was, and I still feel it to this day. You know what I mean? So it's because it's like, it's my dad. I would love for my son to see his grandpa. You know what I mean? I would love to sit there, have conversations with my dad about this, helping my dad with his fitness, laughing with my dad and doing all these things with my son. You know what I'm saying? The three different generations. I but I don't I still just I still love my life. I'm still grateful no matter what, you know what I mean? But everybody dice doesn't roll the same, And it's either you use those bad times to uplift you or you're going to use it as an excuse not to elevate in life. So that's how I see it.
Wow, this is just so much value, Nick. People tuning in are just loving this. I'm so grateful that you're just literally a walking um testimony and testament to what can be done, even going through hard challenges and adversities. When you have God, when you believe in God,
Yeah.
He will use you to help you help and use and just not use but help you be a blessing to other people. And
Exactly.
you are just a prime walking testimony of that.
Appreciate
And
it.
it's just a blessing to see this. So and you touch base because I do tell people, and we'll get into that a little bit too, is that you know fitness is just so much more than just looking good, and
Man,
but it's also about feeling good. Like, how are you feeling? Like your mental, because if you ain't right here, it doesn't even matter
don't matter.
what you're doing. Like, first you have to develop getting right in your mind.
Yep.
And I constantly preach that mindset is just everything.
It is.
So I'm glad you touched on that too. But just to say, like, because mindset is everything,
Mm-hmm.
and you can also touch base on that more if you like. But I do want to just ask because I was curious too, from a male's perspective. I'm just going back to like losing weight and getting fit, like
Yeah.
with you being in the fitness and nutrition world for so long and
Mm-hmm.
working with men and women,
Yeah.
would you say it's easier for men or women to lose weight and get fit?
Oh man. Yeah. I mean, yeah. We all know that, women tend to hold, more fat on their body. And that's just natural.
Good too, man.
Yeah. It's just natural, it's good for the kids, so when you childbearing, so fat is a protection. That's what it is. So that's why, women tend, and then like hormones and things like that. Women battle with a lot of hormones here and there. So it's it get more complex with women. Definitely way more complex. Um, but it all comes down to like the same type of basis though. It just comes down to having uh, a nice balanced diet and then introducing exercise along with it. And everybody body is different. So I can't do the same thing with every client. Like some clients might they might be having these ailments, or they might have these disorders or chronic disorders that I can't train them the same way. Their body's just not going to react. So I have to focus more on like the eating. I might have to tell a client like, hey, you might have to go get a food sensitivity test, something like that, so you could know, because you might be eating a fruit that you allergic to, and it's
Mm,
causing you to be inflamed, and then now your gut is out because it's just it might just be something that you're allergic to.
mm,
So people need to get like more in tune with that, because it'd be like a lot of people got food sensitivities that they don't even know about. You might be gluten, you might be you need gluten-free products, you might not could eat chicken, simple things like that. You might not, you might be allergic to shellfish and you don't even know it. You know
mm.
what I mean? Because yours is kind of dormant stage. Yours don't really, you don't get allergic reactions. So when it comes to, yeah, women, it's harder. Man, it's a little easier. We got the testosterone, which that comes out your body, and that's helps you build the muscle and everything like that. So just naturally, just like how God made us, man is supposed to have more muscle, because we out hustle and bustle and everything like that. But now, what I'm saying, a woman is hustle and bustle too. Like, hey, it's
Yeah.
it's, 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 it's hey, I'll be telling, hey, all my man out there, step your game up. Hey, because these women is out here, they powerful. You know what I mean? So I'm telling, like, it's the same basis. Get on a good diet. You know, get a nice regimen that fits your lifestyle. You have to train based on your lifestyle. Like, if you're sitting down all day at a desk, you need to be, when you do your workouts, you need to be moving,
Mm,
because you ain't been burning calories all day.
mm,
But if you like a construction worker, factory worker, you moving, you hustling, bustling, I'm gonna train you a different way. I'm gonna slow it down a little bit. I'm gonna have way more focus. I mean, diet, you just gotta focus on the diet no matter what, and nutrition.
right.
But I'm gonna train you a little different. You know what I mean? If you hustling, bustling, you're moving, you're burning calories, you need more, you need strength in your body. You're moving a lot already. You need that muscle. We need to get that muscle more compact in there. You know what I mean? So we're gonna slow it down a little bit, because you're moving too much at your work, at your job already. We're gonna slow it down, longer breaks, and we're gonna lift heavy. You know what I'm saying? Which I recommend everybody lift heavy, but it's just a way to start and finish, and like looking at people's lifestyles. Some people got high stress jobs, some people got low stress jobs. So you got to look at all types of dynamics when it comes to it, because every woman isn't the same, every man isn't the same. So, but when you break it down, It is easier for men. It is. It is because women just tend to hold on to more fat. But all my clients, I ain't gonna lie, my best clients be the woman. I'm telling you, they be dialed in, and I'm
I'm
telling
surprised by that. I'm just saying we've gone through a lot, and
you, yeah,
as a woman, we go through a lot. All the women watching this know, like, man, I know y'all go through some stuff, but women, we
yeah,
go through a lot.
a lot, yeah, and that's why I'm saying like my women clients, they go hard. They be giving my male clients a run for their money. They actually go harder. I'm sorry to say, they go harder.
Not say it.
No, but I'm telling you, they go harder. I don't know. It's just like when they locked in, they locked in. I don't know if it's I don't know, the males like, oh, I could, I end up doing it by myself anyway, or they just, I don't know. It's just a different mindset. A woman, when they locked in, when I get them, they just they listen and I mean, the eating is always hard for everybody. I'm sorry. It's hard for me to this day.
Yeah, same.
Yeah, actually putting that in that rotation, putting in that work, you know what I'm saying? My woman clients, they get it in, I just feel like they just be having something to prove. They just, they want to feel better. They might go through like a lot of stress, throughout the day, because women, they actually deal with the kids more, you know what I mean? They working nowadays even more, if you're not a stay-at-home mom, even if you is a stay-at-home mom, you dealing with kids all day is stressful. I couldn't imagine doing that. You know what I'm saying? Like I deal with kids right now. I just started a new contract with a community center, and I do 1 hour with the kids, and I'm drained,
Drained.
sleepy, ready to go to take a nap.
Okay, yeah.
So yeah, so I
Seventh
don't
and eighth
know.
grade girls, I'm drained.
I'm drained, but
Yeah.
yeah, I feel like stress level. Like I think women, they could take on a lot of stress. It's and they know how to manage it a little better than us men. You know what I mean? I don't. It's different. It's different. So yeah,
Glad you speaking all facts on this
yeah.
podcast. Love
I mean,
it.
it's,
I
I'm,
enjoy it.
I'm speaking from my heart, from what I know, from what I see. You know what I'm saying? I come from a powerful mom. She did a lot for me. So you know what I'm saying. I always tip my hats to the women out there, no matter what. It's all respect from my end.
No, I love that, and man, you're powerful as well. It's
Oh yeah,
just us women.
my brothers.
I
I still
But
love
another thing too, because I even someone tuning in said something about basically where it lines up in motivation. She said, I gotta do better because after I get off work, I
you.
just feel like I'm exhausted and don't have any energy.
Mm.
So, and I wanted to get into that because that was even going to be my next question, because most of the people I talk to that want to lose weight, one of their biggest struggles is having motivation to go work out.
Mm.
And I tell them that it's less about the motivation, but more about, the healthy habits that you're
Yeah.
building, the consistency and the discipline that you're building in the process. And I'm sure that you get that too
Oh yeah.
with a lot of your clients. So, what are some tips or advice that you can give them or would just give to someone who wants to learn how to be more disciplined and consistent?
Mm. Uh, just everybody is busy nowadays. Everybody is doing something, and I understand. Like coming home from work, no energy. You got to deal with all these things. You just want to settle down, chill. Eat your dinner, chill. But I'm gonna tell you this: you can start with something simple. One thing you can do is you don't have to work out for 2 hours, an hour. You could work out for 15 to 20 minutes and get a phenomenal workout in. And it's compound interest. If you're doing that every day, you just adding up just a little bit. You could do just a quick 15-minute workout and you'll be good if you just add those up. And then you'll start building momentum based off that. Then if you feel like you want to go a little longer, you go a little longer. If you don't got enough time, I will say, which is hard, wake up a little earlier. But you don't have to work out, you know what I'm saying, these long hours or anything like that. And you surround your life with your fitness. Like if you got Facebook, if you got what everybody do, if you got social media, you need to be following nothing but nutrition and health. That's what you get on mine. That's what it is. Mindset stuff is health, is nutrition. So wherever your surroundings, which is social media, is your surroundings, what you're dwelling in every day, you got to make sure your conversations is about health, fitness, motivate. Everything needs to be. If somebody in your life talking lopsided about something else, no, you direct them right into where you want them. We talk about health and fitness. Hey, if it male or female, hey girl, what you eat today? What hey, we need to get back in it. You need everybody around you. You want them talking about health and fitness, and that's gonna just help you better. You know, get you a friend, somebody to talk to that want to get on the same journey. That's gonna help you. You know, just start surrounding your life with it, submerging. And like I told you before, this is the thing that people think you just need hours of working out. You don't. 15 minutes. I'll go bust a 15-minute ab circuit and be sweating off some abs, or just do squats or anything. You can pick one exercise and do it for 15 minutes, and I guarantee it's gonna get you. And you just add those up every day, consistent. You don't not have to go hard and just feel like your body just gonna change in a week. No, it's compound interest. Keep compounding, and then you start feeling better. You know what I mean? Then you start mentally, you gonna just look at yourself better. You know what I'm saying? And then you just keep stacking it up. So I understand coming home from work. Make it simple. You know, make it simple. That's why that's the main thing. Make it simple.
Yeah, facts. And I constantly tell people, don't be coming from me who was also in sports and very hard on myself. It's like you gotta give yourself grace because it's a process. Like
Yes.
anything worth having in life that's sustainable and that you want for a long period of time,
Mm-hmm.
you have to, fall in love with the process and enjoy it. It's not gonna happen overnight. Like this is something, we building brick by brick.
Yeah.
So that's one thing I constantly always say, give yourself grace. And then I've been saying to people, at least for the last couple months on the podcast, that I've even incorporated in my life, is don't sleep on walking. Like even
Man,
if you're walking,
that's a big one. Oh,
taking a 15-20 minute walk and listen to an audio or something uplifting.
that's it.
Man,
Who the trainer? Who the trainer right now?
hey,
Come on now. I missed that one. Walking.
you know what I'm saying? It's just something that people sleep on. And even from certain people who I know that are in the personal training business or fitness level, they be like, they kind of shun that walking. And I'm like, nah, like I'm telling you, there's results in walking, y'all. Do the walking. So yes.
That's a big one. That's a big one right there. Yep.
Right. Yep. And then one thing too, before we kind of take this in for a landing, Nick, because it's been so much value that we've had, and people are just loving the values that we're getting or giving. So say if you could give 3 tips or just advice to someone, men or women, just starting their fitness and nutrition journey, or wanting to take their journey to the next level, what would you say to them?
All right. Number one, this is what I started with. And it was like, because nutrition is the hardest thing. Quit drinking your sugars. I'm going to tell you that right now. I know we do the Starbucks and we do the sodas and all like that. But if you can just, I want you to kind of stop it, but you can limit it. I don't stop it completely, but I drink water. Drink water. Simple as that. Don't drink your sugars. Drink water. Like, I mean, you're going to indulge in it here and there, but I could tell you on the counter, I'm not doing this to boast or anything like that. But drinking like soda or drinking my sugars, I could probably count on my hands in a year. I'm drinking water. Your body is made 70% water. So I'll just say drink your waters. And then, yeah.
Can I like just chime in and then I'm
Oh yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
um two, like there could be somebody on here or whoever watches the replay. Well, I don't like water. It's just not good. There's different types of water. For
There we go.
one, you can add electrolytes or
Yeah.
flavoring to your water.
Mhm,
You can even get sparkling water that got different types of flavors. So,
mhm.
really, what I'm trying to say in a nice, loving way, there's no excuse not to drink water.
There we go. You got it. And I would just say, like on this journey, see, my stuff is a lot of mental. You know what I mean? So I'm gonna just tell you, number two is like it's a it's a marathon, not a sprint. Give yourself grace. Don't be so hard on yourself. Um, think of this like a life. It's like a lifestyle for life. It's not just so you can get fit for the summer. It's not just because you have a wedding coming up. You want to make this for life and think about generations. If you got kids, think about your kids. If you got nieces and nephews looking up to you, you got even your parents. If you want to be that one that's just going to create a wave, you just got to take it one day at a time. And people gonna start following that. They're gonna see you. They're gonna be like, "Dang, why, why he glowing? Why is she glowing?" Because those simple steps of like eating right, exercise, and just getting your mind right. So it comes down to your mentality. You know, as y'all know, my slogan is "Fix your mind, fix your body." And I don't mean like you're broken. A lot of people are like, "Oh, no, you're not broken." It means like a fixed mentality. Fixed is like you're set on this. So, and my mind, when I say that, is like I'm set on this fitness, I'm set on this nutrition, and I'm set on elevating my life. So that's what I mean by that. And then let's get a nutrition one in there for y'all. Let's get another nutrition because that's like the hardest thing for everybody. And I will just say on number three, just kind of watch portions, watch your portions and try to eat whole foods.
Mm,
I say that one ingredient. When you look at packages, there's like a million ingredients on there, and I don't know what, not even more than half of what the words is on there. I know a few of them because I study this, but look at the ingredients on your packages. We're looking for one, two, or three. You know what I like to say? Less than five. If you could find food less than five ingredients and just eat off that, we talking about belly fat. We talking about just feeling good, your body, less inflammation. eh, It's gonna work for you. But all those box dinners with all these sugars and extra additives and stuff, cut that out. When you get a banana, what you get? A banana. When you get an apple, you get an apple. Simple stuff like that. When you get peanuts, you get peanuts. Simple stuff like that. When you get water, you get water. My favorite. I love me some. Hey, I gotta drink my water. But just look at your packages. Five or less ingredients. Even I got a protein powder called Naked that I use, and it's in the name. It's five or less ingredients. So if you could just eat based off that, you will have a major difference in your definition of your body, your mindset, and everything. So even for your kids and your family, just try to eat based on that.
man, so much value. That is just great tips and advice. And those were all new ones that I've heard. Like every time I have a guest, I ask them what would they give three advice tips.
Yeah.
These are all new ones that I've heard, so I love it.
Hmm.
Thank you so much. And before we wrap it up, if you could tell people where can they find you on social media, and just all the socials, because I know on your personal Instagram page that this is also going through, and streaming through right now live. You're constantly putting great tips on workouts and all that they can find and look into.
Yeah, I'm trying to get more consistent for y'all on there too. I'm trying to get more consistent. I'm working on it, but it's fixed by Nick. So it's FIXED underscore by underscore Nick. So it's fixed by Nick, and that's on Instagram and TikTok. And then on Facebook, I think you can find me by that name too. But if not, you could just go Nick Nix. So NICKNIX, just straight to the government name right there. But yeah, that's where you can find me right now. I need to get on my YouTube. I'm growing. I'm growing. I'm trying to get into the new wave.
Please do. Then subscribe to mine for sure, because
Yeah,
this is
I'm
gonna
trying
be on
to get
YouTube.
right. Trying to get my cat out here, you know. But yeah, that's where you can find me, Fixed by Nick. There we go.
Hey, well, y'all heard it from the man himself. And Nick, I just appreciate you for spreading value and so
Appreciate
much
you too. Yeah,
knowledge. So
yeah,
many people got this. I know I will be watching the replay on this and just got a lot of value. And yeah, I appreciate your time, and I hope you have a great rest of your day, even better week.
same.
And also for you guys, definitely, I hope you got value. You're gonna want to watch the replay again on my YouTube channel because it's so much we went over. And as always, I'll see you guys next week for another valuable episode. And have a great rest of y'all week and an even better day. Peace, love, and blessings, y'all.
Love. See breezy.